Okay, Tom, here's your transmission. We got it apart, and we found out what the problem was going down the freeway. These clutches are called the 3-4 clutches because they come on in third and fourth, and they're just absolutely burned up. And what happens, there's loss of oil pressure. There's a piston that applies these, and the seals on the piston were wore out. There wasn't enough clamping force on these. Also, in conjunction with that, this is called the 2-4 band, and it applies in second and fourth, and that's burned up. And these seals are the ones that I'm talking about. They're just rubber seals, and they wear out over time. And so that's what's basically happened. And that's thrown metal throughout the unit. And what it's going to take to fix this and fix this right is a rebuild. Even the clutches here that aren't burned up are worn real thin, and they have that real fine metal embedded into the lining. And you could kind of compare these two to see how that is. The big difference. Plus, these have gotten so hot they're not even flat anymore. They have warped into a cone shape. And what we're also going to do to keep this from happening again, we're going to install a recalibration and upgrade kit into the valve body. That improves lubrication and cooling, and it also raises the oil pressure that applies to these clutches. We're going to have to also replace this torque converter because it has a clutch in it with metal embedded into the lining, and it shares the same fluid as the transmission. It's between the transmission and motor and takes the place of a clutch if you had a stick shift. But anyway, what we'll attached to this is an estimate, which is all parts and labor for rebuilding it and doing the upgrades. And you could just give Rod a call, or you could reply to the email. Also, we're going to flush the transmission cooler system, and I'll show you that in the next little segment of the video. Here's your pan, and this is that magnet that GM so thoughtfully put into it. And you can see that metal, that real fine metal powder. But that's what it's going to take to fix it. And Tom, we do appreciate your business. And as soon as we get the okay, we'll jump on it and get you back on the road. Thanks. This is our hot flush. It's a patented machine that flushes the transmission cooler super clean. This is not your vehicle, but it will be hooked up to it. These red and blue hoses are hooked up to the transmission cooler lines. And this blue hose is a shop air hose, and what it does, it pumps heated fluid through the transmission for 3 seconds through the transmission cooler, and in half a second it blasts shop air backwards, and that's the pulsing of the hoses that you see and hear. And it heats the fluid up to about 190. It's up to 180 right now, and it measures flow. This is how we find out, make sure that it has enough volume. It's running about 2 gallons an hour right now. Excuse me, 2 gallons a minute right now, and it's running about 50 psi, and so that's enough pressure. And that's how we get all the metal and clutch material and all the contaminants out of the transmission cooler instead of replacing it like they a lot of times recommend. But there you have it. That is the hot flush. Thanks.